What it do, folks? Team No Sleep here. End of June. Montel Allen's over there to the side. What's going on with you, man? James Higgs here. I'm
Man,
just doing what I'm doing. I know you doing what you need to do, though.
yeah, man, just blessed as usual, man. Taking a day at a time, doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Wrap it at 9 to 5 on up, discussing a
All
few
listen,
topics with
nine to
you.
five. You know you
Yeah,
work
yeah.
long. You work more than that.
Oh,
You know
oh
you
yeah, yeah,
work
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah. Well, you got that's just a title, right? 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Man, no, really, man, being blessed, man. Had a really great weekend, extended weekend with the Juneteenth.
Yes, sir.
On the Father's Day, man, kind of got a double up on it, and just blessed as usual. How about yourself?
Same type of thing. I unfortunately was not off Juneteenth, but
Yeah,
I kind of atoned slightly, so I took most of the day off. I did a few meetings, but other than that, but no, it's good to have the dependents home, so the kids are home, so it's good to celebrate Father's Day, and I was able to spend it with my dad and my father-in-law as well. So it was good times. It was good times for
oh
sure.
man, that's blessing. That's blessings on top of blessings when you're able
For
to do that. It's
real,
good.
for real. I'm traveling on Wednesday, so people watching, y'all watching the pre-recorded segment. We recorded this on Tuesday night, so let me go and put this disclaimer up on the screen. But that doesn't mean we don't have a full array of stories to talk about. And before we even get going into, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot. We got some
Yep.
bad news to talk about. So let's go ahead and start with, unfortunately, about the Ray Lewis the third situation. This is a tragic situation, right? 28-year-old, the son of the great linebacker and defensive lineman for the Ravens, Ray Lewis, lost his life at 28 years old, and no statement in terms of what happened.
Hmm.
Foul play or disease or whatever the case may be. We just know that the family's in mourning and in grieving. So we want to give them their respect and their due on that. It's crazy because Ray Lewis III was following in his father's footsteps, right? Went
Yes.
to Miami and all as well. Man, it's just a shame right here to see something like this.
Yeah, it's sad, man. I mean, for anybody, right? For anyone, not just Ray Lewis, but anybody that's kind
Yeah,
of going through these situations. And I believe this is an accidental overdose. They haven't said exactly what it
right,
is,
right.
or what caused it. But I don't, like you said, we don't mean to speculate, but 9 times out of 10, it usually has something to do with fentanyl. Fentanyl's been like that problem drug that's been plaguing everyone.
Yeah,
Um, every facets of life, from the rich to poor, and it's a very dangerous drug that we're starting to see that it is an epidemic, right? This is plaguing everybody's communities, not just one thing, one geographic segment. Is everybody, and I hope it's not that, but based on what the stories that we read, it's kind of leaning towards those types of things because there's similar
yeah,
things that happen the same way. They always mix them with painkillers and things like that. So, man, the one thing we can get out of this, I hope this is a teachable moment. Please, kids and people, stay away from that fentanyl. Like, no
yeah,
matter
man.
what, stay away
Yeah.
from it.
I
It's,
mean, that
it,
is
it's,
stuff
it's
made in somebody's basement, and you just can't be putting that into your body. And it's just unfortunate that here's another example that we lost somebody else. And, again,
yes,
28, right? I mean,
28.
so hadn't even started life yet. So, I mean,
Yep.
that's just sad. And just to be thinking about what the rest of the extended family is going through and the people who
Yeah.
knew him as well. So, yeah, we get those uh,
Yeah. And I think this is
thoughts
one
and
of those
prayers.
moments that this is no one's immune to it, right? No
Yeah,
one's no one's shying away from this. You can't escape this. It's available everywhere. Um, and people are indulging in it either voluntarily or just accidentally. Maybe it was something he didn't understand. He didn't know what was going on. And people, we got to be honest with ourselves. People are lacing stuff with fentanyl
yes,
that you
sir.
don't
Yeah,
know that is with fentanyl. So they're doing these types of things and wanting to get more people addicted. But sometimes it's too much, and obviously it kills its victims. So man, I pray for his family. Ray Lewis. I had the pleasure of meeting him one time. I met him one
okay,
time at the Junior Seau
okay.
Junior Seau fundraiser. I met him one time. Was at met a very nice guy. I'm sure his son was a talented and respectable young man. This is unfortunate that this happened.
Yeah, yes. We wanted to start off with that again and give our thoughts, prayers, give our support to that situation there. Now let's go ahead and get into a recap. We got a handful of stories that kind of talk about some topics that we've talked about already in the past,
Hmm.
and I swear to you, it was either last week, 2 weeks ago. Both of us said the next state that's going to come with some heat in regarding to this situation right here, transgender athletes in college sports, was going to be Texas. And
Yep.
sure enough, here we go. Texas governor signs the bill placing the limits on transgender athletes in college sports. It's a domino effect. It's happening. It's just, again, legislation and bills. It's being passed into law, and you either can be for it, you can be against it. You just need to be aware that this is the situation, though, man. But here's the next shoe to drop. Right, again, we said Texas was
Yeah.
coming. What are your thoughts in terms of when you actually see this here in the
No,
news?
you hit the nail on the head. Domino effect, because
Mm,
we already know that high school Texas sports is very big too.
yes, sir.
I think that's going to be the next step. They're going to say in high school you can't as well, and deal with that. I think this is showcasing that the NCAA is going to have to take a look at it and figure out another situation for people that are transgender to compete in sports, because they're not going to allow it in the typical or traditional co-ed sports that we've had. So, with that being said, NCAA and institutions are going to have to do their homework. This is the part that really that kind of trips me out about it, is how does that affect Title IX now? And I don't know if you know
Mm,
what Title IX is. Title IX is you have to have
yeah,
the same amount of sports, women's sports on scholarship as you do male sports.
right.
Well, now that we're having a third category with transgender athletes, where does that fall into place? Does it fall into place anywhere? Are they going to be awarded scholarships to? You know what I mean? That's a whole different dynamic and lane. It's
So
going to have to
hold
be
on,
carved
sir.
out.
Are you saying that there may be an amendment, maybe to Title IX for folks that fall into maybe the transgender category? Because
I'm saying, I don't know. It has to be discussed though, right?
yeah,
I mean, at some point you got to discuss it. We're talking about equality
wow,
across the board.
yeah,
You got, women's sports, men's sports. Now we're going to have people that are transgender compete in sports at the collegiate level, because you can't discriminate against them. Eventually, they're going to have to allow some type of competition for them to participate in. Does that count anywhere towards the Title IX?
man,
And if it does, how?
that's a messy can
That's
of
now that's
worms
what
right there,
now we're
boy.
talking.
Wow,
How you always say we want to talk about dollars and cents.
yeah,
Now we're going to be talking about dollars and cents.
yeah,
How does it affect and how does it go about? And that's something that I think Noah's brought up. We're going to be the first one to talk about it. Like I said, as
yes,
we
sir.
always are. How is this going to affect the Title IX? Because I'm telling you, eventually at some point it has to, because we're talking about equality across the board. No one's discussing that. It's like we're turning a blind eye. No one wants to discuss it. We don't want to discuss the elephant in the room. Well, unfortunately, the elephant's already in the room.
Yeah,
We got to
listen,
talk about
Ellen already knocking over tables and
yeah,
chairs, right? And we tried to
yeah,
talk about it before it got messy, but now, again, it's complicated. Now, more and more states, and if you want to look at it from a political side, and I don't have to do that, but it doesn't matter
mhm,
what side of the aisle you are, right? Left, right, or center side of the political spectrum. All these different types
yeah,
of states are now coming up and saying something about this type of situation. And that's an
yeah,
interesting point about Title IX there, man, because
yeah. Because that
wow.
Title IX Title IX is what destroyed a lot of small school sports, right? Athletic
Yeah,
programs.
you're right.
They had
No,
to
it did.
take away sports. They had to take away sports in order to comply with Title IX. Well, now we're in a whole different world, right? And let's take University of St. Mary's for example. St. Mary's, in the Bay Area in Moraga, great basketball organization, great basketball team. But now, what do they do if Title IX comes in with transgender? If that's affected, reamended, or reworked somehow. Do they get to keep the same amount of male sports? Do they have to add more sports? Do they have to do all these different things? And if they do, that's a budget that costs dollars, that costs scholarship money, and so on and so on. This is going to be a long-term effect on dollars in athletic departments. I'm just wondering, are the athletic departments getting ahead of it, or is this a situation where we're going to go back and forth like we did Title IX, and sports are going to be cut, and so on and so on, and across the board? It's something
Man,
that's going to have to be discussed pretty soon.
man, this put your seatbelt on, folks, because this is gonna get this
Now,
is gonna get
now,
messy. Yeah.
hey, if they take that, if ESPN or Fox News start to try to run with that and try to talk about that,
Hey,
you guys heard it here first. I'm
yeah,
telling
that's
you,
true.
no
I
one
got
is
it
discussing that.
recorded. I got it time and date stamped. If I hear Freddie Coleman or Stephen A. Smith bring this up, on Get Up, man. Listen, because they've been biting our stuff quite a bit. I'm just gonna say it.
Man,
I know I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, I think they got some spies listening in on us. But hopefully so though, right? Hopefully they at least have
yeah,
that conversation as well, because they've got that larger platform. But that whole pivot, that whole aspect that you mentioned just now, I hadn't thought about that. But that is going to be an interesting piece to follow, and we'll continue to
yeah,
follow up on that, man. That's good stuff. Mm.
absolutely.
So Texas in there. I'm not even gonna speculate who will be the next state. We already got Alabama, we got Connecticut, we got now Texas, we got uh yeah, I'm not even gonna do it.
I think
I'm
you.
I'm
Well,
I'm
listen.
oh
I
no,
mean,
I'm gonna say one of the Virginias. I'm gonna
no,
say
I think it's
Virginia or
going.
West.
I think you're right, but I think it's going to be the Bible gateway or the Bible
Mm,
Belt. How
mm,
they say. I
mm.
think it's going to be the Nebraskas, Kansas, and those people in the Midwest. I think they'll probably start to try to adopt amendment. You know, to
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of either not let them participate in college sports, but I think the bigger picture is going to be high school sports. Colleges are going to be able to kind of figure out. But when you go through that, the Bible bite, what's it called? Damn, I forgot the name of it.
The
But the
Bible Belt.
Bible,
The Bible Belt,
yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Say that three
So
times
that
fast
all those,
backwards.
yeah, the Nebraskas and all them, and then the Alabamas. Obviously, I think Mississippi and Louisiana and all those will follow suit. Like,
Yeah.
and Florida's going to follow suit as well as Texas and all those. To me, probably Georgia will probably be the next one. Georgia's going to be a huge one,
Mm,
but Georgia's going to be a big fight in the city of Atlanta because Atlanta has a really high population of LGBTQ community.
true.
How is that going to translate? That's part. They'll have a fight in Atlanta, but outside of there, people they probably will be okay with the bill. This is going to be funny, man, how this kind of all pans out because, again, I think the money part's going to start to come into play, especially when it comes to when they start to really get a voice in there and say, we want equality. Okay, now how do we form these sports and are they scholarships? And if they're scholarship, how does that balance between the current Title IX?
Man, listen, we
And once
always
that
talk
starts
about,
to happen,
we talk about getting comfortable with
yeah,
uncomfortable
yeah,
conversations.
yes,
Now
this is
you're
going
gonna
to be
get
an uncomfortable
uncomfortable, and
conversation.
you're gonna talk about money too. So listen, people
Yes,
gonna be shivering in their boots, man. We'll see. All right, we'll
uh,
keep an eye on it, folks.
absolutely, absolutely.
Next thing we're gonna follow up again. We talked about this before. When Brittany Griner and her team were traveling not too long ago, they got approached by a right wing YouTube person and started hurling obscenities, threats, whatever the case may be. And I did not realize at that time that the WNBA teams did not fly charter. I did not realize that they only flew commercial, and that's one of them. That's one of them old Arsenio Hall things that make you go, hmm. I could not believe. But long story short, and here's a story off of ESPN. The WNBA is now starting to allow teams to use public charter services to get to where they need to get to. Caveat is the service that they're using, what's it called here? JSX. They don't have routes in all these WNBA cities.
Mhm.
So yeah, you got access to a private charter service now, which is good, but not all the teams really can still take advantage of some of that. But it's a step in the right direction, right? Again, these are
Yes,
professional athletes that need to be separated from fans and the common folk, just so they can be safe and get to and fro where they're going. But uh, they're gonna have to do a little bit more than this. This is a good step, but your thoughts on this? Just the fact that we're starting to get some action from the WNBA.
I think the great thing is you're right. It's a step in the right direction. I think that people got to realize that charter flights cost. So consumers are always going to absorb the cost, right? The expense.
Yeah.
So tickets are going to cost a little bit more to attend these games, and though it's such a. But I think we should support them. I think we should. I think it's a very good. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, WNBA is a very good brand of basketball.
Yes,
It
it is.
is. I mean, it's a very good brand of basketball, and they're starting to develop rivalries. They're starting to do these things, and I think they should always. I think they're gonna have to thank Iowa and LSU to kind of give them this big boost they've been getting lately. As far as that platform being on a higher stage, but I believe they need to start being treated more so like like the boys NBA. Not so I mean we could always discuss the markets. The market obviously in the NBA is a lot bigger than the WNBA, but they just got to start to create some type of revenue and generate some revenue to be able to cover. So they can always have charter flights, so they can be in these situations. Um, and fans got to be able to help them support that if they want this league to continue to grow and be as good as it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. I think it's great right now. I'm still disappointed, like in the ownership currently in the NBA, still not giving those dollars they're supposed to. You got to think about it, man. Like, Chris Paul, $30 million contract. Steph Curry's getting $40 million. I mean, how come these guys? I know no one wants to give away money, but you've been making $40 million for the last 4 or 5 years. There's no reason why you can't.
Your kids
No,
will be
but I'm
eating.
saying
No, your kids eat for a long time. Yeah, you got this.
But
all
if you
this
don't want
extra
to, if you
cash.
don't want to give them ownership, if you don't want to donate your money, why doesn't the WNBA open up ownership for those guys to purchase a part of the team to be able to put their money in that situation to help them get the facility? Like, they should be able to buy ownership. I think the only one that has one, I think 2 people own I think LeBron owns one, or he has some ownership in one of the women's teams or somebody else. But they should open up for players to really collectively become a group and buy into a team, buy the majority stake so they can help fund them to do these extra things, or open up some more, or make WNBA public market so we can buy stock in it. They need to just be creative with something they have to do in order to make this
that's
make
it.
it be fun.
Or even, hey, if there's a limitation on that, if maybe even some of these retired folks, right? Some of the players that have already retired and are sitting on a whole bunch of cash, they can give it all away to their charities. Why not help the next level, next squad coming up? That just makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
I mean, we just read what Michael Jordan just sold his part of the Charlotte Hornets for what?
Yeah.
Some ridiculous amount of money.
Listen, and Jordan got
Mike. I mean,
come on, Mike.
It costs. It'll take one. It won't even take a 10th, not even a 20th of the money he sold it for, in order to fund a whole entire WNBA team. And do them right and make sure everything's done right. I just wish they had that relationship. I don't want to say it's not there, because I don't know, but I wish they had that relationship where either current players that are supporting it, or like you said, retired players that want to support it, that already got the bag, that needs a place to put the money. Why don't you allow them to kind of either buy some minority stake or put some money somewhere, or some ownership into a WNBA team? That way they're vested, right? If you own it, you're more vested than if you don't own it.
I mean, this is almost back to what we were saying a few minutes ago about a Title IX situation, right? Equity, so equity in pay, equity in access and services as well, right? So this should be on the block for conversation. Hey, these ladies, these professional athletes need safety in getting to and from. Right now, this JSX, where was it? I was seeing it. They closest hubs to WNBA cities include the LA area, LA, Burbank, Orange County, Phoenix, Vegas, Dallas. And New York. That's it. So
you got
they need some more routes. They need some more jets.
Atlanta. You got Minnesota. They got a lot of other states they got to be able to cover. And maybe hopefully this opens up another opportunity for another charter to be able to get in. You don't have to fly one charter. Maybe there's another charter company that can come in and take up those other areas for them to be able to have more. So, but I mean, money wise, again, we know it's a big imbalance because the markets are completely different, and it's justifiable when you compare the markets. But I'm saying, if we're trying to breed, this next generation to have ownership in things and do things different, this will be a perfect opportunity to let them be able to invest and buy ownership in the WNBA while they're playing in the NBA, or while they're not playing NBA, but to have a vested interest in the sport they love, and they've grown to love it. And you learn to become an owner, right? You understand how it works. I think that's a big thing with a lot of people, especially when they get to that kind of money. You have to learn how ownership works and how the money is divided and what things go. And I believe if you own things, you're more vested. It'd be great to see Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, all of them own a team. They would be at the games to watch them and celebrate with them and be vested. That draws even more fans. That makes your product that much more stronger.
Man, that's marketing 101 right there. Montel Allen just gave a masterclass, marketing 101. Y'all better listen to this man. I'm gonna make sure ESPN, Fox, CBS, everybody hears. I'm gonna cut that up right there. I'm gonna send that to Stephen A. Even though he and I have had some problems, I'm gonna send it to him anyway. Okay, let's say what, man. We let's go into. We still got a couple more recaps of some stories that we went in. Then we got some new stuff to cover. But staying in basketball, going over to the NBA. Ja. So it's. Apparently, Adam Silver knew what he was going to do, right? They already had the meetings, but, didn't want to, he says he didn't want to interfere with the finals, and that makes sense, right? Didn't want to interfere with all of that, but Ja has now been suspended officially by the NBA for the first 25 games of the season, And now that means money's coming out of his pocket. Ja Morant makes $300,000 per game.
Pause real quick. Pause.
I know. Let's
We just
marinate on that just right there.
no.
Right?
Pause on that and think about what I just said.
Yeah.
Why can't that money does he been fine be filtered over to the WNBA?
Ooh. Take that fine money that he's not getting anyway and filter that over there to your sister league.
The WNBA.
Wow.
Yep, to the
brother.
sister league. That right there would solve all their problems about flight and all the other things that they need. Just that alone, his 25 games would solve that right there.
Everybody would have a G4, whatever it is that the fancy folks are flying in right there. That right there could buy everybody a jet.
You know what's crazy? I was watching something, I can't remember, but you know how Nike did release his shoe. They released his shoe, a limited edition of his shoe, and it sold out. Right, it sold out like within an hour. They were saying the job, I think he made somewhere an estimate like in 10+ million when it released, because he sold completely out of everything. This dude is something special on the basketball court, but he's got to get whatever he's got, his personal life and his things in order to continue to build that brand.
Yes, sir.
I think I was watching something. They were just saying Ja's the main culprit in it, but there's a lot of people in his hands of him not having developed into a pro. One, I think the Memphis Grizzlies have ignored his behavior, so that's been part of the problem. I think he's a privileged athlete. You know, he's a great athlete, but he's privileged. So that's the other problem. And as you always say, his home training ain't the best because they don't make the best sound decisions or help him make the best sound decisions at all for himself.
Yeah.
The interview I saw with him, he was just saying that he's always I think he's got a little bit of depression, to be honest with you. From his interview, what he was saying, he was like, I don't feel good unless I'm taking care of everybody else. That's what he was saying. Wow. You know, and when I'm taking care of everybody else, I tend to forget about myself. I'm not giving him an excuse. I don't give him a pass. Dry knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I think there's something there why he feels he needs to be addicted to that attention, because he's not getting that love or what he feels, that little feeling inside himself somewhere else, from his family or whatnot, or from friends or whatnot.
So do you think that's necessarily a cry for help that he's doing, or he's just verbalizing that because I got caught again? Or do you think he's actually reaching out for help?
Combination of both. I think it's a combination of both. I think he's making people acknowledge, this is kind of my situation, what's going on. This is why I feel, and that's fine, that's valid. But you still have to be responsible for your actions, as we know as adults, regardless of how you feel. I think he's in a a better situation where he can get those helps, and he can get those helps very easily. If he needs those kind of things. He's not he's not a person that's out there grinding every day that doesn't have that privilege to feel that way because they got to get up and feed their kids the next day. He's in a different scenario. So it's great that he expressed himself that, hey, I feel this way sometimes. And I don't know if he was crying for help, but he was just telling people saying how he felt, that he neglects himself a lot in things he's doing. But that neglect, I think, is coming out when he does dumb things, right?
Yeah.
He finally gets some time with himself, and he's like, oh, I do the first thing that comes to mind, so I'm going to brandish a gun on social media. I'm going to brandish a fake gun on social media. Yeah. I'm going to be with this rapper or notorious friend that's, been in trouble all the time.
Yeah. It just don't even sound right when you say it out loud, right? And again, you think someone, the $30 million man would know better, but again, we're not gonna speculate.
And I'll talk it up to adolescents, because I won't condemn a 15-year-old for a mistake he made when he's 25. 10 years later, I think there's some maturity to come apart. Again, we talk about it all the time. You come from a young man, come from a modest household, pretty good family. They made money, but they never came into this kind of money. Right, this is different kind of money he's making now.
It's grown folk money, for sure. Yeah,
the rules now change, and people don't want to acknowledge that the rules change when you become that kind of person, that kind of money. And I don't think he's caught up with the changing of the rules, that you have to be super mature and act a certain way when you do this kind. But you got to think, Ja's only 22, 23, 24 years old. He's young. He wants to go out and party. He wants to do these things, and I think the difference between what he's doing is cameras are around. Like we talked to Bert Grossman, when they was young, they was doing this kind of stuff, but
doing the same thing.
No cameras around. And Ja's in an era where everybody's filming everything what he's doing, so he needs to be more cautious and be more aware of it. he's not. He gets oblivious to whatever the situation is. So I
Yeah.
think he has a lot of things going on. 25 games, I don't think it was enough, to be honest, in my opinion. I don't think it was enough. I don't think it sends enough strong enough message for him because he's already went to the self-help thing that he tried to do in the rehab
Right.
and clean himself up. That's spending them 25 games when he just made 15 to 20 million with Nike because he sold a shoe. That doesn't negate. It doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't change the leverage of what he has. That money I'm missing from the NBA, I just got it from Nike, so I'm cool. I ain't really tripping off of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
There needs to be some type of, I think, a sterner punishment for him in this essence. And I think that Memphis needs to be able to step up to something. If they want to protect their commodity, they better do something because I don't think we've heard the last of Ja being in the headlines
No.
about something negative.
I mean, the NBA is requiring. I'm looking at it right now. Require him to go back through some. It's not sensitivity training, but some training about just negligent training, awareness training kind of thing. He's going to lose that cash. The Players Association is still saying that the 25 is too much. So obviously, I mean that makes sense, right? They're going to appeal and try to get that reduced and all. But Silver also said that Morant not being charged with a crime would not prevent the league from handling down more discipline. So, this is just the first shoe to drop. If he out there messing around again and he wants to garnish a slingshot, cap pistol, job maybe 3 strikes, brother. Right? This is the second one.
Man, you could talk about time. Protect the bag. I don't get it.
Get some new folk. And listen again, and we were just talking about this offline as well. Hey, brother, it's time to get you some new folks. It's time for you to move on from these folks these cats you've been rolling with. Yeah, you may have grown up with them. Yeah, they're your homies from birth or whatever from elementary school. But my goodness, you the $30 million man. Right.
You need to be rolling. Hey, you need to be rolling with Jay-Z in them. That's you got
real.
That kind of money.
That's who you need to be with. You need to be sitting in the room with them. Damian Lillard is the guy who you need to be sitting with. He knows what he's. Listen, that's the role model that you need.
What's funny? What was I watching? I think I was watching the one with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Their little podcast.
Yeah.
And they were saying
all the smoke. Yeah.
The difference. Yeah. They were saying one of the difference between the kids coming in today and before is that we always had veteran leadership. We had veterans that taught us how to become pros.
There you go. Yep.
He says, look at Memphis. Memphis doesn't have veterans that taught them how to be pros. They got rid of all of them to make sure they brought in John, all these young guys to play basketball. But this shows that the NBA, there is a place for guys like Haslam. There's a good place for Iggy Iguodala. These are places for these guys to be in the league because they have to show these young 19, 20, 21 years old, 22-year-old guys how to become pros.
Yep.
Because you're under a level of scrutiny. Everybody's watching you. You got it. You're already a target because you got a lot of money. Mm. You got all these things going on. And if you have no guidance, you act like Ja, right? You're above the law at that point.
That's crazy.
He says, and that's exactly what's going on.
90% of the time, you're a young black millionaire in a city that you didn't grow up in. You got the world giving you every single thing that you want. You don't know, and you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to cope with it. Yeah. Man, you got to have some folks around you that can tell you, hey man, we're not going out tonight. Or right, we're not gonna get into that right there. You got to have these cats around you, man. You do.
Well, and the question you got to say to yourself is like, what would you do when you were 22 years old if somebody handed you $10,000?
Yeah.
What would you do? You go act a fool.
Listen,
especially if you ain't never had no money. You go,
man. I go straight to the mall. Listen, and
buy. I'm gonna buy everything. I'm gonna hang out with everything.
I'm gonna buy everything in Oaktree.
It reminds me because I remember my nephew when he was younger, he got into a car accident and he got a fat settlement. He got a pretty big settlement. And I remember my sister gave him the money, right? And what he did with the money, he blew it. Bought a car, necessary car he need, like you said, at the mall.
Yeah.
Eating out, taking his friends out all the time. He's just doing things, but you're doing things because you're not being smart with your money and you're not understanding that's going to eventually run out, right? You don't have that understanding when you're young. You're like, I got this much. Oh, I had 10,000. Oh, I got 6,000. I still got no. Oh, I'm down to 4,000. That's still a bunch of money. Oh, I'm down to 2,000. I'm still cool. I'm straight. Oh, I'm down to 500. I still got a little bit of money. And when it's down to that last $50, you be like, man, where did it all go?
What happened? Yeah,
it's gone.
And
it's
what
gone.
do you get to show for it, right? Because you didn't put 30 of those dollars in the bank and try to get some interest, right? And that's where the old cats come in to help you out with that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
exactly. And I think Josh not gonna blow his money, but I'm saying Josh in a situation where he's not mature the way he's acting with the streets because he's got money. Remember, him and his friends are now in a whole different zone. It's a whole different world. I can go to BET Awards and I'm backstage and I'm hanging out with all the people that I used to admire just a year ago when I was watching them in college on videos.
Mm-hmm.
These dudes are talking about me and they rap songs now, but when they wasn't saying nothing, I'm in a whole different world now. So, yeah, I mean, no one's showing him how to act. There's no one there to show him. And like you said, you would think his father would. I think it's new to his father. His father don't know how to act. It's all
his father getting in fights with Shannon. Come on, man. Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, he trying to get all of the watches and the jewelry and all that. Want to go to all the games, hang out with all the stars. Look, Daddy, you raise your child.
You would think you would say, okay, he's mature enough to handle it. But again, his dad isn't a level. He's not a mature enough to handle it. He wants to drink his yak while he's sitting on the sideline.
And folks, when y'all hear this, listen, we're not making it up. Go on YouTube, go look at the stories and go look at all the previous games and you see was it Ty? No, what's his name? John. What's his name?
John's dad. I just know about John's dad.
Right, you see he out there hobnobbing and trying to shake hands and kiss babies with all the fancy people.
And to me, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that
I'm sure. Okay, hold on. I'm sure he's doing a fine job parenting his kids. I know he's got a daughter as well. I'm not sure you got other kids, but so I don't want to get out there with all that smoke. But I'm just saying, he could probably do a little bit better job with the Morant bag.
I would think he would lay down the law with his son and say, you know what, we need to do better. Like after the first time you got in trouble,
That's it right there. The statement.
You make the one mistake. Yeah, you did the one mistake. Okay, now we got to do better. Yeah, we got to cut off. We got to do things different because me and your father, I'm not going to allow you to lose this opportunity or mess up this opportunity you got for yourself. You may hate me now, but you're gonna love me in the long run. When you like Allen Iverson's age and he's talking about, man, my bag, I wish I would have saved my money. That would different. I don't want you ever to be in that situation. We need you to be, be like Allen Iverson. So when you turn 50, you're gonna have another bag coming into you.
That's
another
true.
50 million coming.
Hey, I got some more money. That's true. Hey, I
got
what
I'm saying?
More money coming. That's true. Yeah.
And he should be able to learn from Allen Iverson. Like I would have Allen Iverson come talk to my son, but like, man, talk to him. Because Allen Iverson went through the same things when he was young. It just was no camera. Remember, we would read Allen Iverson got in a car accident, speed chase, or his boy had a gun, and such and such. Yep. He went through the same kind of things that was going on, but he was able to make it, and there was no cameras. Ja's in the era where there's cameras on everything and watching it, and it's unfortunately he has to grow up faster because the eye is always on him. Allen could be in the cut, make a rap song, and be in the cut, nobody's seeing him. He could be cool, he could disappear. Nowadays, you're a superstar, you can't disappear. You're always as soon as you walk out the door, you're on the front of the camera.
Yeah,
so
that's a fantastic segue to what we're gonna talk about right now. Cameras, social media, Twitter accounts, and and we so I didn't mean to cut you short, but that's that I just again I'm an old man, so I forget things, but just the fact that we brought that up. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You perfect how you fell into that. Perfect segue, right?
Yeah.
Zion Williamson, y'all remember him, right? Sometime he played for the Pelicans. He hadn't played in a while. He's hurt. Hopefully, he's getting better. That type of thing. But he is a father as well, and I think he's married. I'm not sure. He's either married or maybe he's engaged. I'm not sure. But regardless. You see the headline right here. Shouts out to Fox Sports. Ex-porn star's Twitter account has been suspended after threats of release of her sex tape with Zion Williamson. Why is this a story? Why are we talking about this? This could be anything. This could be a TMZ. This could be National Enquirer. But again, here we are again. High-profile young athlete who was the next Jordan, right? When he came out and he was busting through his shoes, doing
Hmm.
windmill dunks and all that, everyone wanted Zion to be the guy. Unfortunately, we haven't seen him play enough, and now he's got situations like this again, either being associated with the wrong kind of folks. Porn stars got a probable sex tape, and she was going to release it out there on social media. Again, there you go, cameras all over the place. Man, talk to us. What do you think about when you see the headline and you read about the potential of a Zion Williamson, and it's come
Yeah,
to this?
yeah. This for the NBA is a character destroyer, right? This is something that could destroy his character, or really put a big blemish on somebody that was supposed to be the face of the NBA or be one of the
Yeah,
faces of the NBA. So this is not a good look for Zion. Who you mess with, that's your business. What you do behind closed doors, I could care
yeah,
less. That's your
yeah. That's
personal
your
business.
business. That's your
But
business.
but the fact of the matter is, you got to be careful when you in that kind of status that the camera's always on. Somebody's always watching. Someone's always trying to sabotage you, blackmail you, because at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all about money. You know, Zion has millions and millions of dollars, and he's about to wherever the next team he goes to, he's going to probably sign another $100 million contract.
Hmm.
He's wealthy beyond wealthy. People want to take advantage of that. And that's whether if they want to just do it, stealing from them or extorting them. This is to me like a form of extortion. I don't know why there hasn't been charges, because you can't threaten to release something like that, especially in the public eye. And then that's extortion unless you do this, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
do this
and
unless you do this.
that's
That's
exactly
extortion.
why I got this line up right here on the
Yeah,
screen so folks can understand. Right, we just not talking about this just because it's a juicy
yeah.
gossip story, dog. She's saying Zion can't win a case against me. I have physical proof that he sent people to threaten me, and he knows this as well. I'm taking you to court for all the damages you have caused my life. So again, they're both sides to the story here.
So
There's
you
some
got that.
extortion. There's some. You
This is
know.
crazy. This is crazy. I mean, and don't think for a second this young lady probably this isn't to relaunch her career or launch her status as well.
Yeah.
I like Kim Kardashian, right? Same situation with Kim Kardashian. Released a sex
Exactly.
tape.
Exactly.
That's been kind of the format. You release sex tape, you become famous like the Kardashians, right, or something like that, or you have ambitions to be as famous as the Kardashians or something like that. He's put himself in this bad predicament to be that way, and it's kind of sad because Zion again is only what 21, 22, 23 years old. He's young dude. Um, but again, what do you do? I mean, what can you do, man? These guys, they're in a different status and in a different world, and their social status is completely different. So they're hanging around all these people that like you said, give them everything. Even though they got money, they give them everything. And to my thing, the camera's always on, regardless of what you're doing. So
Li- Literally,
I,
right here, right? Camera's always on because we
man,
talking about sex tape. So yeah, so they,
yeah.
so folks don't be filming, right? When you don't do that, because now
I,
there's evidence somewhere.
I mean, it's getting to the point. Man, it's crazy. It's getting to the point where you gotta like have a app on your phone, a legal app with just a gag order or something that you gotta sign.
Yeah,
You
sign
know,
an NDA, right? And we
yeah,
go to dinner
NDA
tonight.
right
All
there.
right, you gonna sign this form right here. We just gonna go eat, and that's it.
Let me go over the particulars with you real quick. So you
Man, it's
initial here,
crazy,
thumbprint here. Let me film you saying yes. You won't do
bruh.
this, and it's coming to that point, man. It's unfortunate, but it is. And to me, the only thing that's crazy about that seems like extortion, man. I mean, to me,
No, it
I
is.
mean,
Again, I'm not a legal expert, but just reading what I know there and Monday morning quarterbacking, I think
yeah,
I think young lady need to be careful because I think
yeah,
Zion's probably got enough cash to hire some pretty well versed lawyers
yeah,
and get his legal team in play, and either they settle out of court. Who knows? We've seen these types of things happen
yeah.
before. They settle out of court or whatever, find a way to delete the tapes and do all of that, but she not gonna come out on top. It I,
Well,
I'm just gonna
it
make that
defines what we mean
assumption.
top.
I'm gonna make that assumption.
If they settle for a certain amount, she came out on top, right?
Okay,
I
well
mean,
there
you
you
got to
go.
think
Yeah,
for whatever time, whatever she got on camera, it's obviously worth money, right, to somebody. If it ain't worth money to Zion, it's worth some money to some distributor to put it out there.
yeah,
It's worth some money to somebody. It's
man.
worth money for her to put it on social media because her tweets and her followers goes way up, and now she starts to get paid by Twitter and all these other social media platforms. So it's all about money. The money's involved. The thing is how much money is it worth? And to me, I think it's a lot more. It's a lot of money worth to Zion and to the Pelicans to make sure that thing never comes out. So, I would assume they would settle. But I mean, they need to figure that out, man. And it's bad that he's got to be in that situation. It's something
Yeah.
he just can't walk away and ignore, right? You can't ignore it because even if he gets traded, it's going to follow him, no
Yeah.
matter what he does. Man.
Yeah. And we not even talking about, so we talking at the 35,000 foot level. Now down the road, there's a child involved. Right. Down the road, there's a child involved, and they gonna have this when they look themselves up in Wikipedia. They gonna see this story that happened to them when they were kids. So that's unfortunate, and no one's even talking or thinking about that yet because the child's not here. But it's
Yeah, it's messy. It's messy,
messy.
man. No
Yeah,
matter how you look at it, it's really messy.
it's not good.
So
I'm
I
just
hope he
staying
can clean
home
it
from
up,
now
man.
on. Yeah, I'm just staying home. I'm not. We married, so yeah, you know what I'm saying. We don't have to worry about this type of thing.
I'm good, man. I'm not in that game no more. Like you said, I can Monday
God,
night quarterback. But
man.
I do believe though, man, there need to be some type of you got to clean that up. And one and two, man. I mean, it's about money. So to me, it's advantageous if you pay, right? You pay and get the tapes and destroy them. That's the best case scenario.
Move on.
If you can't get them, you better get some kind of lawyers and gag fees to make sure it never comes back, because that's gonna, like you said, if it does come out, it's gonna hurt him for a long time. It's always gonna be lingered there because nothing's leaving the internet. It's always gonna be.
And this story is all public opinion, and it's all social media. It has nothing to do with his performance on the court. So obviously, I mean, Adam Silver and the NBA, nobody, they're not getting into it until there's thoughts or maybe some criminal activity. But right now it's just all public opinion and that kind of thing. But sometimes that can be just as bad, right? That could be, Zion, you go to another state, you go to another city, you go to her hometown, you might get some batteries thrown at you, right? Who knows?
Well, you got to understand though, he's the face of the Pelicans. So what does that do to the Pelicans organization? Like when you go to New Orleans and you see the billboards, Zion's on the billboard.
Yes.
So you got your billboard person on this having, a sexual encounter with a porn star that released it on the internet. Whether you like to watch this stuff or not, or indifferent, you have, no matter what, you got people that's not for that and do care. So that affects the Pelicans' money. How you gonna have that dude up on your, your billboard? We don't support that. You got all these different opinions, but the bottom line, if it messes up my bottom line, my money, then there's a problem. There's a problem. If
you mess up the deposits and the checks, we got to have a conversation. That's true.
So that to me, it's funny that Silverman is turning the other cheek right now and not doing anything. You would think that they would have definitely the Pelicans involved as well as Zion involved to figure out how they can make sure this alleviate. Kind of like with Deshaun Watson. Remember, the Texans weren't involved.
Yes,
they were like, hold on, wait, we got to figure out what's going on, and eventually just traded him and got rid of him because lack of cooperation. They have to be involved. They got to be. This is a part of their brand. This is a part of their marketing brand. Their makeup marketing tool, and it's being tarnished. So.
Hey, we will keep a bookmark on this as well and follow this story. Hopefully it's not as ugly as it as it already is. All right. One more follow-up story and then we'll get into some new stuff. Man, we going through them, but at least we promised the community that we'd always have these stories and we'd get to the truth. We gonna get to the truth on some of these things. My dude Bob Huggins. This man, y'all seen life. This man can't get right.
Yeah.
Bob Huggins, man. Okay, y'all remember a couple months ago we brought up the story. We were talking about Mr. Huggins out there doing an interview. Got a little excited. I think he may have been drinking at the time as well.
When he's talking about Xavier, right? He called Xavier all kinds of Xavier University, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, made some statements that were inflammatory. I can't get the word right. Just offensive to the LGBTQ plus community. And listen, dude, you can't do that, right? And you don't be insensitive like that, especially on an interview. The interview was so bad that it even took the interviewers back. And they're like, "Oh man, Bob Huggins, what are you talking about?" And I'll put a link to that show in the description so y'all can go back and look at that one. All right. So after that, Bob got reprimanded. He got slapped on the hand. His contract got reworked. He lost some cash. He had to go to some more sensitivity training and all that.
Yeah, he was suspended, right? Suspended for like the
Yeah,
first 3 or 4
yeah.
games,
He
right?
was suspended. You
Yeah.
know, again, and lost that cash and back to that money
Yeah.
thing. Now, West Virginia basketball ex coach Bob Huggins is out there drinking and driving. Don't do that,
Mhm.
folks. He is out there drinking and driving, got pulled over, got cited with a DUI. That's bad enough, right? So again,
Yep.
kids, don't drink and drive. But Bob Huggins can't get right. So he actually himself said, I got to go away. I got to figure this out. I am embarrassing West Virginia. I'm embarrassing the school, the program, and everything. So he resigned. Long story short, he's resigned. I thought it was sad for a minute, but you were saying that, you know, not necessarily sad thing. It's just, good Lord, no matter. Again, you just can't get out of your way. Bob Huggins, talk to me your thoughts on this man.
I don't feel bad for millionaires. I don't. I don't feel
Okay,
bad
you
for
don't
millionaires.
feel
Period. I don't feel bad for him. Bob
okay.
Huggins put himself in a situation.
He
It's
did.
crazy because, you know, like you said, he got slapped on the wrist. He had all these addendums in his new contract that he wouldn't do this things and do this things. Now all of a sudden you get busted in, I think, Pittsburgh for DUI. Now I'm embarrassing. Now I got to step away. First of all, Bob, don't move because you can afford to get somebody to drive. Ain't like you can't afford an Uber, take you to where the hotel or your house where you're going. That's number one. You shouldn't be driving. You should be, if you're drinking, you shouldn't be driving, or you should hire a designated driver. And the problem that I have with this is Bob Huggins has enough money to hire anybody. I can speak for my son. My son, when he was a GA at the university he was at, the head coach knew when he was going out to go to these functions and these things, he would tell my son, "You got to drive me home. I want you to take me there, and I want you to be the person to drive me home." Period. So that just takes planning and somebody being smart enough. He just ignored whatever was going on and decided to take matters in his own hands, and now he's got himself caught in this situation. So I don't feel bad for him. Shame me once, shame on me, shame me twice, shame on you. This is a shame on you. So Bob Huggins, he's right. Got to step away from the game a little bit and get himself right. But the crazy part about it, he's gonna have another job in the next year.
That's true.
He's too good of a basketball coach, and his record is too great for him not to get another job. He just won't be at West Virginia. That's all.
Yeah, and
there'll be an opening somewhere, and he'll get that job. I promise
you. Yeah, and that's okay, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, again, you look at severity. We don't want to completely. The culture is to cancel everyone for any mishap that you do, and a couple of months ago he said some bad stuff. Yeah, okay, hey, dude, you can't be doing that. Right now, you didn't mess around. You didn't had a few drinks, and you're out there driving. Come on, bro, you know better than that. You can't do that. But when you look at the arc of severity, all right, there's much worse things that you can do. Right, you messed up, brother. But you gonna find another job. You're gonna be cashing checks again. You still gonna be a millionaire. You're gonna have somebody's program. It's probably not gonna be as like you said, not as glamorous a program or something out there. But
he's gonna get another. He's like Urban Meyer. It's just like Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, oh my gosh.
No, yeah, Urban Meyer's name is always up in every big time college program that a job opens up. Urban Meyer's name is always mentioned in it.
Yeah,
always, because he's besides what he does off the field or off the court, he's a great mind at that sport. He understands what's going on. He knows how to build a team. They know how to build coaching staffs. They know how to develop a winning culture. That's great. That's all good. My only problem with Bob Huggins is, like you said, this happened 6 months ago, and he got all these things admitted in this contract, right? He was sitting there saying, "I would never do this again. That was my fault." Blah blah blah. I'm suspended. I got, he was taking all his lumps like a thing, like, "I'm gonna promise to do better. I'm gonna change this program around and such and such." Then turn around. I don't even think it's been 4 months later. 4 months later, you've been caught in this situation. And typically, that's not the first time they drink drive, right? Because drunk drivers, that usually ain't the first time when they get caught. It's not the first time they've done it. They've done it before. So he's got himself caught up in this situation, and now, again, cameras are everywhere. Everybody got the eye. Everybody's on the media. Everybody's on that hot watch. He got caught. Everybody, it's there. And now I don't think he resigned like we think. He said, "Hey, I'm giving it up." I think the AD had a conversation, like, "Hey, we'll give you a chance to resign.
Yeah.
So we won't tarnish your name.
Yeah.
Because we're going to fire you." That was the conversation. We either gonna let you go or you're gonna resign. Which one do
Yeah,
you want
so,
to do?
some kind of way you packing up your keys. I'm over here looking at
Yes.
the details of the arrest and the situation. It says Huggins exited his vehicle and failed a standard field sobriety test. Officers observed empty beer cans in a white garbage bag of empty
Mm.
so empty beer cans in a white garbage bag of empty metal beer bottles. In the trunk of the vehicle was another white garbage bag of empty metal beer bottles. My man was out there putting them down.
He was pounding them, boy.
He blew a .210 from a breathalyzer, and that's I can't count that high in terms of how high that is above the legal limit. But
Yeah.
2 empty garbage bags of beer
A
cans
booster.
and beer bottles. This man was lit.
Man, he was pounding them down, man.
Yeah. So
Hey, at least he didn't litter. At least he didn't litter.
At least he didn't. Oh Lord, pray for him. Pray for him.
Yeah, brother man didn't litter. I
Oh
mean,
man.
and you know, like you said, as far as severity of the crime, I mean, he didn't. I mean, he's fine. I mean, he's okay. I mean, he could have did something, but it didn't go wrong.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a job again. Everybody's gonna, like I said, he'll bounce back on his feet. I just don't feel sorry for him losing that job because, like I said, I think he just that incident he did before with the homophobic slurs really tarnished his name and tarnished the university. They really don't want to have that no more, and then have something 4 months later. You know, it's like, hey, we got to cut our losses right now, and get back on the groove and do something else because we got to go a different direction. And that's okay. I think both sides. It's okay for both sides, right?
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, take a little sabbatical. Take care of yourself. Hopefully your wife don't kick you out the house. But yeah, take care of your home. Next story here kind of hit home to me a little bit selfishly because I got folks at this school, and when you brought this to my attention, I said, "Oh my gosh, come on now!" So headline: Oregon State recruit Brandon Smith is facing attempted murder charge. All right, I'll give you the summary, folks. Brandon Smith signed with Oregon State. Shouts out to the Beavers. Was going to go up to Corvallis. He's down in Santa Barbara right now. He did that in the I think he did that in the evening before signing his letter of intent and saying where he was going to go and where he was going to commit and play football. He and his partners was out at the community pool, swimming pool. Somebody got into an altercation. We don't know who exactly, but somebody within Brandon Smith's clique, his squad, got into an altercation. Next thing you know, we got guns going off. We got fights happening, and someone almost died. This is not a good look for this man to go and have an altercation at the community pool and then 5 hours later commit to Division I school and say that's where he's going to go. How do you have that kind of a poker face and be able to, right, darn near almost kill somebody? You were somebody in your crew, right? You be part of that altercation and then go get on TV and put the hat on and say I'm going to be a Beaver next year. That's cold. That's cold-blooded.
I think that's cold. I think that this young man don't know what damage he did to his life and his career, right? I mean, obviously playing that high at that level, you have an opportunity to maybe make it to the league or go play professional football somewhere. You're at Oregon State where Beavers love their football, so you have a chance to go there, compete, and be a legend. Now with the NIL money, you got a chance to make some money, some real money. With that being said, it's out there, and then you and your crew, this happens. You know, whether it was a small fight altercation or whatever happened, this happens, and now you're caught up, and now you're done. I mean, I'm sure Oregon State's probably going to pull the scholarship.
Yeah, and here it is right here. Oregon State has said he has never signed with the team and will not be part of the program.
So, but you got to think of this. People got to look at the severity of the crimes when they set your bond, right? When someone sets a $2 million bond on you, that means they have enough evidence to say they think you are guilty. Not going to say you're guilty, but they have enough evidence. They think the prosecution has enough evidence to make sure you're guilty. So that means the prosecution and the judge think there's something there that says you're guilty, especially with a $2 million bond. So with that being said, he don't have no scholarship now. He doesn't have no opportunity now. No school's going to pick him up. He's got to go through this legal battle right now. And then if he's found innocent, which trials like this take for sometimes even years, if he's found innocent, where does he go now? You know, just so this young man's just messed up his life, and not
Yeah,
to mention there's a victim involved,
yeah,
right? There's a victim
who
involved.
wants him to come to their school, right? I mean, the
Yeah,
charges: attempted murder, robbery, and conspiracy.
yes,
Them grade A felonies right there. That's not play talk right there. That's stuff that
yeah,
you don't want that distraction in your
yeah,
program, regardless of
yeah,
how
and
good you play your position.
I hope he's innocent. I hope this is somehow not him involved somehow, or somehow there's something that's there where he can exonerate himself. But even then, there's no one that wants to sign that. This traces you and follows you wherever you go,
Yeah,
regardless of the situation, guilty or innocent. This follows you wherever you go. That was that guy that was convicted for attempted murder.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the guy that was convicted. So there's always going to be pointing fingers at him. For him to overcome that is going to be a lot, especially in today's climate of sports entertainment. It's almost impossible to overcome that. So with that being said, this young man made a bad decision whether he defended his homies or he was in the middle of the fight. Now
It's not,
it's cost him everything.
and it's just not a good look, and it's even worse that it was the exact same day. Right, come on,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
the exact same day. You know, how do
It,
you go from
it,
the mountaintop to the valley
it,
like this?
it gives you the appearance that you have no remorse on anything you do,
Wow,
right? That's what it gives you. This dude was in a fight, almost killed somebody. Then he gonna come sign my letter of intent and celebrate with the school? Hold
man.
on,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah. We
That
don't.
that shows you have no remorse, or you have no thought about the consequences of what happened. Now, to his defense, I would say maybe he didn't know there was attempted murder. Maybe he didn't know whatever happened to the other individual when they fled. I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he did. Maybe they got into a fight, altercation, something, shots went off. They bounced out. He didn't know if somebody was hit or not. Let's give him that benefit of the doubt. But the fact of the matter that I'm sure word of mouth gets around, right? Obviously, with everybody's crew. When you do something, something comes around. Hey, man, that dude got shot, or that dude got really hurt really bad. It was a thing. And you still have the audacity to go there and celebrate with your school and act like nothing happened, and you're on your way to Oregon State. Still gives you the perception that you just don't care. So this guy, man, I mean, I feel sad for him, man. I feel sad for him and the victim, because I bet you it was a situation that could have been easily walked away. What was so serious at this point when you're about to go sign your letter of intent
Yeah,
that I got to get in a fight with somebody?
yeah.
Like what he's sitting at the public pool in my seat?
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
he drinking something?
I
Or
was yeah. He
even,
spilled his
even if
drink
it's
on my shoes. Come on,
yeah,
come on.
even if it was an enemy, somebody I don't like before, then I got to get out of this situation, man. I'm signing my letter of intent today. We got to roll,
Yeah,
bro. I can't
right.
hang here.
I'm about to rise up out of this situation. So okay, you have the little drink, you take the little spot, but you know what? I'm put to be
Yeah,
at a
yeah,
D1 school here in a couple.
yeah. You can win the war, but I'm about to win the battle. I'm out. I'm about to
Man,
go sign my letter of intent and win. So you can go ahead and
that's that.
deal with this. So my question is, and I'm sure he's kicking himself right now, sitting in the cell. What was so important, or why was it so serious that we had to get into a fight on the day where I'm about to sign my letter of intent?
I'm
What was so
kicking my.
disrespectful?
Listen, what you just. I'm kicking myself sitting in the
Yes,
cell.
kicking myself sitting in the cell. What happened?
Ooh
What did he do to
wee,
my What did he do to my boy that was so crazy that we had to get into this fight?
my
What did he
God,
do to me that was so crazy that I had to put my hand, that we had to get into an altercation? What
my
was so
God.
crazy that we were arguing about? We in a pool. That means we all in shorts and tank tops
Yeah,
and shirts and
chilling.
kicking it at the pool. What? Oh, he messed with a girl that I used to know? Okay. You about to go to Oregon State, bro. What you
Bruh.
worried
Yeah.
about? It so that moment of being angry just cost this man his life. That moment of his homeboy, because maybe his homeboy started to fight, his homeboy being angry just cost him his life. Now he got to ask himself, was it worth
Mm, sad. It's a sad situation, and you're right. When they got that kind of money and getting being held in jail on a $2 million bond, somebody has spoken. Somebody got some evidence. Someone got some fingerprints, and that's
it?
brings it all back to Brandon Smith, and it's sad, man.
Yeah. When the bond's $100,000, okay,
Yeah,
they let
yeah,
him out on $10,000
let
bond.
let him out.
Okay,
Yeah.
he might be cool. He cool. They ain't got enough evidence. They just know he was there at the scene. When they put you on a $2 million bond, they have evidence that you was involved in something.
Yeah.
So again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't know somebody was hit. Maybe he didn't know the severity of what was going on. But my question, you need to peel back that onion another layer and say, why was we even fighting in the first place? What was so serious at that particular point that we had to get into this altercation where somebody had to, not only that, but somebody was either shot or stabbed or drowned, where they figure it's attempted murder.
Man, come on. All right, man. Listen, I'm all right. I can't take it no more. I can't. We got one more story. We had a couple of others, but we gonna have to say that I because that's again, that wasn't his home, because that cat could have been walking around campus with my son in the next year and don't even have no empathy, sympathy for life or people, right? Just especially on the one of the highest days of his life, he gonna be involved in something like that. So
I wouldn't say I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say he doesn't have empathy. I'm just saying you don't have no awareness of your surroundings of the situation that's about to happen.
Go.
So
That's probably better.
Why would you put yourself in that situation?
Yeah.
Like, if me and you was going out and I'm about to sign $1 billion contract and you started beefing with somebody, like, yo, man, hey, we got to bounce.
Yeah, we got to go.
You got to go. I don't know. Hey, or you know what, James? Hey, man, you go ahead and handle this, man. I'm about to bounce. I gotta go for sure. So I gotta go. You acting a fool. I gotta go for sure. I gotta remove myself from the situation. For him, and I understand 20-year-olds, they full of all. I mean, I was out there fighting when I was young too, and when my friends was fighting, I get that part, but I also understood what was the bag. Like, I understood, okay, hold on. Yeah. I got something. I gotta go to my job tomorrow, or I gotta do this, or I gotta make sure I meet with these people tomorrow, so I can't be involved in that. Sometimes it's okay to stay at home, right? It's okay to remove yourself from this situation. You ain't selling out your homeboys. You ain't doing that. You got to remove yourself from the situation. He did a bad judgment call, but not removing himself from the situation. It almost reminds me of Allen Iverson. Remember when he got in the big brawl fight in the bowling alley when he was younger?
Yeah.
And he had to go to jail and all that stuff?
Yes.
Similar situation. Allen Iverson is 1 out of 50 million that happened to somehow get out. The other 49,999,99 don't get out.
Yep.
They in jail because of something stupid that's going on. So I pray for this young brother. I hope everything works out, and I pray for the victim as well. But it don't look good for him, man. And this is sad.
This is again, we make the term of grown folks' money, and then $2 million bond. So we'll keep a track of it, folks, and see what's jumping off, see what happens. But not a good look. All right, let's close it out with a story here that we've been watching this for a little bit. We've been watching this cool. Why? Because listen, them Aztecs, San Diego State was the truth, especially in basketball. They did their thing and they came out represented. They were Cinderella to me. Now, did they get too big? Are they saying, listen, we through with the Mountain West?
Nah,
we through with y'all. Come on, talk to us a little bit. See, because this is your neck of the woods right now. Talk to us about this. San Diego State.
It boils down to money. San Diego State now is going to have an option to go into a Power 5 conference.
Yeah.
You got to take it. And what that means, and I think what people don't understand, there's money. You go into a Power 5 conference, you're always on television. You get part of that television revenue. If you're a Power 5 conference and you win games, you go to a bowl game, that's an automatically national televised bowl game that goes on there. San Diego State now, with all the other sports lifting up, with baseball, softball, women's and men's basketball both going to the tournament. Football's already been a stellar for the last several years under Coach Hokie. They now have an opportunity to leave the Mountain West and jump into a Power 5 situation. It's money, and there's millions and millions and millions.
So they earn this. They earn it.
It's just they okay. They set themselves up to be in this situation. It's bad for the Mountain West. I feel sorry for the Mountain West because they're losing one of the top dogs in their conference has been holding it down for the last couple of years. But for San Diego State and for the school, it's a great opportunity because now they become a major hub in the sports arena as far as college sports is concerned. You got to think now they're going to be same echelons with USC, UCLA, and so on and so on, which that's national money, not regional money. National money on ESPN is a whole lot different money than you seeing local boys play on CBS Sports.
Make it plain, brother. Make it plain.
So, and you got to think, whatever they join into, they'll be on that TV's network, so they'll be constantly on TV and constantly getting money. You got to think these Power 5 organizations, each segment is probably worth over $1 billion, right? From the SEC all the way to the Pac-12. Billions of dollars involved because you have these athletes playing always on a national scale. San Diego State now has an opportunity to jump in there and get a piece of that pie. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it, especially when you're able to compete at that level? So I think it's kudos to them, man. They don't deserve it. They've earned this opportunity to get themselves aligned in this situation. And locally, everybody's been talking about it. I think they're going to go into the Pac-12 if the Pac-12 jumps on board right away. They're kind of being hesitant, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in the Big 12 or the Big 10 with Nebraska and all those guys, because now they'll be able to cover not only a market of the Midwest, but they'll be able to cover the West Coast as well. So you got to think it'll be a little bit of fight schedule for everybody, but you got to think their games will be televised in the Midwest all the way down to the West Coast, which means they cover a big TV slot of time, whether it be on that conference's network, regular network like the Pac-12 network, or to be on a national stage, either Fox News or Fox Sports, ESPN Sports or CBS Sports or whatnot. But now they're jumping to national now, man, which is great. Which is absolutely great.
So they are in the midst of the conversations with the conference and taking the hit, right? I mean, the Mountain West Conference is saying, okay, y'all talking about leaving, so that there's financial consequences to that withdrawal, and we're taking your board seat away and all that, and so there's gonna be some more conversation, right? It's not gonna be as seamless as one would think, but I understand.
You give them $6 million, but you give them $6 million to get $50 million.
I say, right?
It's a no-brainer.
We'll go ahead and cut
it's
that
like
$6 million
like,
check. Okay.
Yeah, we'll give you a $6 million check to get out of the conference. We're about to go join them and get $50 million this year, because we got sports that are going to be televised all year round and everything that we do. Not to mention, now we're going to be a national recruiting hub now, and who doesn't want to go to San Diego? Yeah. I mean, San Diego's the next most, San Diego and Miami are two of the most beautiful spots in the world. Yeah. And to be able to attend school and go school there on scholarship, now they're on the national level of recruiting, where they can compete with the Oklahomas and the South Carolinas and so on a recruiting scale, because they'll be involved in those types of conferences. It's a win. Now for the Mountain West side, Mountain West is gonna have to fill the void now, just like the Pac-12 has to fill the void for Oregon and all those schools leaving. Yep. Everybody kind of has to backfill with some of the top teams. But at the end of the day, it's all a money game. It's the money game. Like, what school has a big enough market for us to be able to attract them to come play with us, and it can be competitive right off the bat. Like right now, to me, San Diego State football is better than Colorado football. Wow. And I know you like Deion and everything, but right now I think if San Diego State was to play Colorado, they would beat Colorado. Colorado's not there yet. But again, now
they're already tried and tested. So yeah, we know what we're gonna get from the Aztecs. Okay, I hear you on that one. Okay.
So there's I mean, man, this is good. This is good, man, for everybody. But I hope the Mountain West backfills with schools that deserve it, like the North Dakota States, South Dakota States, the guys that have won the Division I AA title. I would hope Mountain West would decide to absorb them and pull them into the Mountain West, so now they can get on the national scale and build their brand up and compete against these guys. Compete against the San Jose States in them right now. I think everybody just has to have a plan. Again, there's so much money involved, everybody kind of gets all rattled. It's a lot of money involved. You got to think, if you come from a $2 million budget now, North Dakota State comes from like a $2 million budget. If they're able to jump into the Mountain West, they get $6 million right off the bat. $4 million is a whole lot of different changes.
Yeah, man.
That pays the whole athletic department and some on just that one change. So there's opportunities there. You just got to be able to fill them out and put the pieces of the puzzle together. But for San Diego State, it's long overdue, man. I think they've been playing really good ball since the Marshall Faulk days. They just never been able the opportunity to kind of get there. And now, with all those sports clicking at the same time, they get to hit the big boys and see what happens.
Like you say, they earned it. They earned it. So we'll see. Yes. We'll see where they land here in the next couple of months, because there'll definitely be some noise here before the end of this month and before the end of July as well. All right, brother. We did it. We went through. Man, we had a gang full of stuff to talk about tonight. But you go ahead and bring us home, man, because that's what.
Oh yeah, do. Man. Everybody out there, man. Again, like I say every week, get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations, because that's the only way we grow. We out.
Peace.